transforming a smile is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time
Mm-hmm.
for the brain to adjust. So when someone sits in your chair, he's pretty much surrendering to you, lying on his back, and telling you, Doc, I don't understand what you're about to do, but I trust you.
Where I'm from, the gap in my teeth
Yeah.
is considered a mark of beauty. But
Yes.
growing up in the US, I remember having conversations with multiple dentists about, do you want to close that up? No.
Yes.
People used to chisel their teeth to get this.
Correct. Going to have your teeth done abroad means that it's just going to be a transaction.
Uh-huh.
And instead of it being a transformation. Because the brain needs beyond 7 days to be able to adjust. There's the aspect about money, right? But I know as healthcare professionals, we don't like to talk about money.
Welcome back to the Smile series with Dr. Amy. If you joined us last time, you know that Dr. Amy isn't just transforming smiles, she is transforming lives. Today we want to go a little deeper. We want to talk about something that holds a lot of people back from going to the dentist. The truth is, a lot of us, not me, but a lot of people are scared of going to the dentist. They are fearful. And it brings us to one word that is central to the work that you do, Dr. Amy, and that word is trust. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about trust and why it is the currency of healthcare.
Trust is everything. You're not just treating a tooth as a dentist. You're holding someone's confidence. You're addressing their fears and sometimes even sharing their stories, with you. And you don't want to miss that. So when someone sits in your chair, he's pretty much surrendering to you, lying on his back, and telling you, Doc, I don't understand what you're about to do, but I trust you. For me, this is the ultimate. This is sacré, I would say. That's all I'm looking for. A patient, trust me.
Oh, sacred is the perfect word.
Sacred.
It is sacred. Trust with a patient is sacred. Because, a new smile is quite an emotional journey, right? It's quite an emotional journey. Would you share a little bit about the kinds of emotions that patients go through?
The journey is like a wave. When patients come for the first time, they're probably taking some time to make that appointment coming to the dentist, right? So they come in probably afraid, curious, and coming into the dental chair, we're giving them also so much information from the x-ray to what we've seen in the mouth, on the scanners, and there's a lot of information. So they get sometimes a bit confused, right? So we as dentists, it's our job to move you away from that space, that phase, to getting to that excitement, So we need to go past those fears and doubt and ensure that, you're focusing on the new you, the new life that we're here to create for you, and leave that old smile behind, especially when we're talking about braces or veneers. It's so important that it's part of the journey, not just to do the work, but to hold your hand and help you get there. Because transforming a smile is emotional. It takes time for the brain to adjust. And that time is what makes the difference between how a good dentist will support his patients and a successful dentist who understands the power of that journey and ensuring that we walk on that path together. Okay?
Very true. Very true. And, that's such an interesting idea because the brain does take time to catch up. I have seen cases where it is like a big transformation, and I'm sure you have as well, which brings us back to your earlier assertion about your vision with Africa 2030, no more medical tourism, because it is challenging, right, to go away, get work done. You can't really walk the journey with the doctor. They've just done the procedure and you're walking the journey alone.
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And, you know, when you think about it, you were mentioning to me in one of our earlier conversations about just the length of time it takes to do orthodontic work, for example. You know, imagine if someone was doing that with medical tourism.
Yes.
Paint that picture for us. What could that look like?
100%. Because going to have your teeth done abroad means that it's just going to be a transaction.
Uh-huh.
And instead of it being a transformation. Because the brain needs beyond 7 days to be able to adjust to the new transformation. But you're also using your teeth to function. So you need to be able to get back to your lifestyle, chew what you're used to, and ensuring that you're testing your smile with everything that will be part of your life. And in one day, you cannot have the opportunity to get your brain to adjust, get your teeth and your muscles to also adjust, because function is important. It's not just what we see, right? So that journey is what we're bringing here. And you may have beautiful work done, and then on your way back, after paying for a first-class ticket, and you know, something can happen on that olive.
Have a little bite of
A bite on an olive, you know. And what you do at that point, you're on at what 5,000 or 6,000, you know, miles up there. And do you go back? Do you go forward? What happens? So we know we deserve to have a life that it's premium, and we ensure that whatever you're doing from dentistry shouldn't interfere with that life, right? So doing your work at home ensures that we follow those steps, ensure that we give you a break, a week, come back, we'll do the next step. So we're not in a hurry, right? And it's so important for us and for the patient to pace it.
I love that idea of living premium. It's almost redefining it and reclaiming it, especially as Africans in today's world. Because if you think about it, for so long, there was almost a sense of pride in that I had my things done in Europe, in England, in the US, or whatnot. But really, if you think about it, you're flying several hours, you may be just a number to that dentist or that doctor, you're coming back often in discomfort, right? You're spending a ton of money going back and forth each time. I mean, you can build a house with some of the things that we're spending. Really.
Certainly.
So if you think about it, we're redefining what living premium means. Living premium for you means having access and being treated with dignity. Tell us more about your ideas.
If you're thinking I'm having an orthodontic treatment that will last 18 months, and I have to fly every 6 weeks for the next 18 months, how much is a fare?
Oh, Lord.
Fair. Okay, we're not talking about that. Okay?
You know,
so that's where the house comes in. You know,
that's where the house comes in.
Yes. So
you can.
It's important that you get quality, but convenience is so important. So I hope you're telling yourself that this matters. Convenience, you know, and quality is what you get. By having your treatment done here,
where you live,
And apart from that, there's an African smile. That is, you know, a cultural aspect to how we do what we do. The diet of, you know, what we eat, you know, that has to be adjusted to everything that we build. So that aspect is not something that we should ignore. You know, you might be saying it to one of your dentists somewhere in London or Dubai. You might be wondering, what are you talking about? I don't know what Shaki means. All right, so I'm here to say that we're not here to take care of aesthetics alone. That the function is the number one thing that I, as an orthodontist, being in this field for close to 3 decades now, my focus is not just on aesthetic. What looks good would definitely work well, right? But my focus is really on ensuring that it works well, that the bites and the smiles are functional.
I also loved what you mentioned about dignity and preserving the sense of culture, especially as someone who has what is considered as an African beauty mark. Where I'm from, the gap in my teeth, you know, is considered a mark of beauty. But, you know, growing up in the US, I remember having conversations with multiple dentists about, do you want to close that up? Right? And I'm like, no. People used to chisel their teeth to get this. And so it's always wonderful to be cared for by someone who understands the cultural nuance.
Yeah, you don't want to bring your bride price. Lower your bride price by closing that gap. So
I know.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. It matters to us.
Yes.
And who else can understand that?
That's right.
You know,
than us.
An African dentist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a quick moment and just point something out here too, because you're so passionate about this. It's not just that you're saying, oh, we have to just do the work here. You are actually with Wealthy Dentist Academy, with the work that you're doing with your masterclass tour, because you have an African masterclass tour, right?
Yes.
You're going to Nairobi, you're going to South Africa, you're going to Abidjan, to Senegal, you're going to Ghana, and you're taking South Africa, your acclaimed masterclass series in veneers and other cosmetic procedures. You're taking them around because you're so passionate about it. I mean, I know that's not easy. I know that. Tell us why that is such a passion project for you.
So for me, definitely building the Seamless Academy, I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to, yes, train abroad, but coming back and continuing my continued education. I just thought, look, I can't keep this just for myself, right? And I'm at that stage in my life where it's more about significance and impact. And I'm happy to share. I'm ready to share. I want to share. And I want our patient to stay here, because if many dentists are successful and are able to do what I do, it impacts, you know, a bigger community, right? So it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And yes, we've seen a couple of doctors coming from outside Nigeria, and I just thought, look, this is the time for me to take it out, right, and share what I know, starting from the mindset to materials that we can afford to have, can't afford to have, and then also designing smiles in a way that works just for us, right? But I think the biggest aspect that I hammer on is that mindset where, can this work for us? You know, will I be able to do this? So I show the way, I walk them through the way, and make sure I show return on investment on how they can make it, make it big.
Yes.
Because this is so important for us as dentists. Dentistry is so hard. You know, from dental school to the work that we do in our clinic, we deserve to be paid
on the premium. Yes, because you're giving premium service. A workman is worthy of their wages. That's scripture, right? So I want to touch on a couple of things as we return, because everything you said here is so rich to me. One, I love the mindset, because there's some people that would rather be the only person in a place that knows how to do something. But rather than hoard the knowledge and say, well, you have to fly over to Nigeria to do it, you're literally that passionate about spreading the knowledge and really up-leveling and upgrading the standards in Africa. This is the Africa 2030 vision you were talking about, that you're going to the people. You know, I was watching one of your master classes, and I'm not a dentist, but I love to see excellence in action. And so I have to say, first of all, I've seen you, Amy, in so many different settings, right? But let me tell you, when you are teaching, the energy, you're like a powerhouse mode. You love it.
I just love it. I don't count. I'm ready to give. In fact, we did the past Seamless classes over 2 days, and I see myself looking for a third day, and the participants also being happy to stay for a third day, right? Not making money in their practices, but because there's so much that we're sharing, you know. And for me, excellence is something that I want. I don't want any dentist looking for shortcuts, no. And that's why I take the time to say, guys, this is serious. This is hard work. Because I have procedures where I am on my feet for 8 hours. It's like open heart surgery. So it is so important that if you want to grow, that you grow in the direction that has been put before you in a seamless way, right? And that's why I speak about equipment, material, workflows, etc. But I always begin with the mindset.
Yes.
Yes, and finish with the return on investment, because we need to make sure that we're able to pay ourselves as well.
Yes. And you know, that's where the second place I wanted to go, this idea of the return on the investment. I think so many people start out with just really great intentions. They just want to help people and change lives. But then if you don't have certain structures in place and understand the business of healthcare, you end up being a dentist who's good, but a dentist who's struggling. And I think a lot of people end up in those situations. In fact, I think that's part of why we have a brain drain.
Yes.
Right? We have a lot of dentists, a lot of doctors, right, who are good at what they do, but because they don't understand or see the opportunity to really be wealthy in Africa, they tend to leave.
Right.
And so your work with Wealthy Dentists Academy is not just about helping individual dentists be better. It's actually reversing brain drain in the country. It's changing our continent and then helping people stay home and live better lives. Because, you know, Nigeria is sweet too.
Nigeria is sweet. But thanks for even helping me see the bigger aspect of, you know, the significance and the impact that I'm making, you know, through this. But you said it. I mean, as healthcare practitioner and dentist that we are, we care.
Yeah.
You know, but who says care cannot be linked
Profitable.
with profit? Who says that passion cannot lead to profit? It's a continuous journey.
It is.
So it's really something that I believe will bring so much excellence and grace into how dentists practice and see their practice, and how their patients see them. Because it's not just about a transaction between patients.
Absolutely.
We're transforming lives.
Yes.
We matter.
Yes, and you matter. I love the point that you made that, you know, dentistry is hard. You're on your feet sometimes 8 hours, and the return, when you kept mentioning the ROI, the return on investment, it made me also think about many of the people I know, the dentists I know. You're a mother, you're a wife, right? And so the investment you're making is not just your money to build your practice or your money to go and study dentistry. It's also your physical energy, but it's also your children, because there's time away from your children, there's time away from your husband. So they're investing as well. And in a sense, you really owe it to all of them to really be intentional about saying, you know what, I'm not just going to be a dentist, I'm going to be a wealthy dentist. You know, I want to ask you a question about that, because I find that many people really are happy to invest in how to be good at labor. And so I'm going to use that terminology.
Okay.
Like being a dentist, yes, is a profession, right? You're a professional. But in a sense, if you tell a dentist, and I've seen this across the board, doctors, engineers, pharmacists, any professional, come and pay for a certification, they will find the 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 to pay for that certification to be better at being the dentist, engineer, lawyer. But if you tell them, invest in being wealthy, learning how to make more money from it, the thing they had them is hard sometimes to bring out the money to do that. Have you seen that to be true in your journey with Wealthy Dentist Academy? And what would you say to someone who's struggling with that?
This is so true, because I've had dentists looking at it as a deposit that I have to make, whereas they have to look at it as an investment and something that will give them even something bigger, much more than what they're putting down. So it's still that around that transaction that we're even making with ourselves, right? Where we're looking at that initial payment that we're making versus, look, I need to invest in this equipment. And this equipment is actually a money generating machine, right? And I could pay 10 times more school fees from this equipment I'm investing versus taking from my practice right now to pay, you know, school fees for probably one child and maybe the other child waiting, you know, another year or so. So it's still a challenge to get people to understand, you know, how to to invest in themselves. Sometimes not just in dentistry, there are other skills, soft skills that they need to know, have. They'll just make a difference, as we said, between a good dentist and a successful
one. That's such a great distinction, because so many people just think I'm a good dentist. But you are talking about also being successful, and being successful in all the different dimensions, really. Because, can we take a little detour for a minute?
Yeah.
Let's paint this picture about living premium, and a little bit about some of the things that I am familiar with you, about your life. You run Smile 360. Smile 360 is no small practice. You have more than one clinic. You are known as the, top dentist to go to, or at least one of the top, right? Don't fight us. Okay, it's just the real deal, honey. Okay. But the other thing I'll say, right, that I know about you is that you have a lot of balance in your life. You're a very present mother, right? You have a wonderful marriage with your husband. And by the way, husband is artiste extraordinaire, among
the
other
chairs
things.
that we're sitting on
We're
here.
sitting on his art, literally, right? You have a beautiful home. You take time to take care of yourself. You exercise, you swim, you play golf. I mean, how has your investment in becoming wealthy? Because I think a lot of us are afraid to acknowledge that we want to be wealthy. It's almost like we're afraid of that. Can we lay claim to that and share how your life has become more delicious as a result?
I love the word. Delicious, délicieux.
Delicious.
So for me, there's the aspect about money, right? But I know as healthcare professionals, we don't like to talk about money. But the money is important. If you don't need it, give it to somebody. But your family will thank you for that.
Yes.
Because you're there to be able to inspire them, to be able to, so it's so important that we know that it's not negotiable. We need to make sure that, and from the time you invested in one dental chair, you're in business. So we need to be able to talk about the business of dentistry. But for me, wealth goes beyond money, right? I'm talking about the time that we get, for ourselves. So that's where the big work is for me, to be able to say, okay, there's time in the business where I'm working on patient, but I'm so deliberate, to have time away where I invest in myself, and time off where I go and get totally, how can I say, not refreshed, but to be able to get back all my energy so I can go back again and give more. So time for me is the biggest currency. And when you look around, people who are wealthy, I mean, if we open who watches TV now? But anyway, the television screen, and you have that image of people who are wealthy. What do you see? People who are coming off a cruise and, with their luggages, or people who are, touring the world, playing golf, or, because what they're using is not money.
Yes.
It's the time that they have made to be able to enjoy their life. So I want to push on that let's ensure that we use tools, technology, workflow, people, empower people, delegate, build systems that enable you free time, for you to be able to be wealthy with money, with time, and with people around you that really love you. And start by loving yourself. Yes.
I think that's just a perfect place to drop this episode. Start by loving yourself. We started with loving our patients and building trust, recognizing that they're vulnerable in that moment. And we talked about investing in mastery. We talked about how important it was to really be deliberate about being successful and profitable. And I love the way you ended that. Start by loving yourself. Loving yourself. Dr. Amy, thank you for another great episode in the Smile series. We have more to come. I want you to stay tuned to the next episode and make sure that you share this. Now, I also want to point out a few things. You want to watch this space. If you're not following Dr. Amy, what are you even doing? Get on it, follow her so that you can be tuned in to when she is coming for the Africa tour, right, of the Seamless Masterclass. Right, she's bringing it to a city near you in Africa. You also want to learn all around the Wealthy Dentist Academy coming soon. I'm so excited that we've had this time. I want to thank you for your time. We will see you next episode. So share this with someone, share this with the dentist you know and love. We will see you next time.